some players find that when they come up a standard to Test cricket, that when they jump up to the next stage, because the pitches are that much better, even though the bowling is better, because the pitches are better, in some ways it can be a bit easier for certain types of players. Regional cricket, club cricket haven't always got the best surfaces, and and it makes it difficult for players. They're expected to go down a level and yet really perform. And actually, there's still some quality bowlers, and the pitches aren't always great. So it's not always as easy as people would expect. You're coming back from an international team, therefore you should be scoring hundreds and hundreds of runs every week. It doesn't quite work like that. If you're going back and you're playing on good surfaces and you're still not getting the runs, then you've got to look at, hang on a minute, clearly there's something not quite right with my game at the moment. It would be hard for me to generalize, and I think it would be wrong of me to generalize and say, well, the problem is a technical one or the problem is a tactical one. You'd have to look at the individual player. If you gave me names of players, I could say, well, actually, I think he had a flaw in this area, or had a great technique, but you know what? Every now and again, he'd rush a bladder to the head and would get himself out. I'll tell you a really interesting one for me was someone like Kieran Powell, right? Where talented player, technically very good. And the number of times Kieran Powell, even Test cricket, right, against very good sides, in England a couple of years ago, where he would bat before lunch, really, really sensibly, very tight. He might be on about 30 odd not out at lunch, and he'd leave well. If the balls weren't there to drive, he'd leave it, go through to the keeper, leave it, go through. And then after lunch, for whatever reason, about 2.5 hours into an innings, a ball that he would have left in the morning, he suddenly has a go at, has a drive, gets caught second slip, and he's out for 34, 35. And you think you've done all the hard work, you're good enough. If your mentality, if you can keep doing what Shiv would do for 6, 8, 10 hours, but almost with Powley, he'd get to 2.5 hours and he'd see a drive when the drive wasn't there. It was the same ball he'd been leaving at 10 o'clock at 10:30 in the morning. Does that kind of make sense? Does that give you an idea? And that's what I would see with someone like a Powley. Not lack of technique or ability at all. That was more shot selection, 2.5 hours in, possibly mental fatigue, possibly tired.